A common question that we get is what predisposes me to skin cancer? What things are risk factors for development of that? And it's more than just being fair skinned. We all have different skin types and we are all at risk for developing skin cancer. If you're fair skinned, you may develop it at a much earlier age than someone who is darker skinned. Another important thing is family history. If you have a family history of skin cancers, then you could be at increased risk. This is interesting because it is more of the skin type that you have inherited. Now when we talk about melanoma, that is different. If you have someone in your family that has a history of melanoma, then you are at an increased risk for developing melanoma, whether you have had sun exposure or not. Also, if you have a lot of moles, and that's something that you should be checking regularly, and if you are worried or if you just want reassurance, then go to your local dermatologist for just a general skin check to develop a baseline, and we can follow you thereafter for any lesions that change or become worrisome. So with the accumulation of sun over a lifetime, we are predisposed to develop skin cancer. And there are different gradations. People who are fair-skinned will tend to develop skin cancers at an earlier age as those people who tan more easily. But just because you tan does not mean that you're not going to develop skin cancers. You still are at risk also. The most common skin cancers we see in dermatology are basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma. And some people will also call these non-melanoma skin cancers. Melanoma is another cancer we see in dermatology, and it is the most serious cancer that we see. All three of those can be caused by exposure to sunlight. With non-melanoma skin cancers being the basal cell carcinoma and squamous cell carcinoma, there are over 1 million of those diagnosed each year, with approximately 200,000 new cases of squamous cell carcinoma each year. Things that patients can look for that may alert them to the possibility of a worrisome lesion is something that may start looking like a pimple but doesn't heal. Bleeds, heals up, never quite goes away, bleeds again, then that's a sign that you should have the lesion checked by your dermatologist. Or a rough, scaly lesion that maybe oozes a little bit or bleeds a little bit, that's worrisome also. What typically happens with sun-damaged skin, though, is the development of what we call actinic keratoses. These are precancerous lesions and can be markers for the development of basal cell or squamous cell. We see these very common in dermatology, and they're most commonly located in sun-exposed areas: face, scalp, neck, arms, and legs. These lesions typically feel rough and scaly, and they may come and go for a period of time and then become persistent. If you have one of these lesions, it's scaly, it's not going away, you should have that checked by your dermatologist.